Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, to the first impressions of the Type 89 with a 10 kill round that I want to present that actually made my game crash. I'm not kidding, so I couldn't bring you the detailed results, but I survived the battle. It was just at the right split end of the battle. The Type 89 is now the Japanese infantry fighting vehicle and is kind of the counter to the BMP-2, the Warrior, and the M3 Bradley. However, this tank led me to a little bit of misinformation because I played this before I actually played the Bradley. However, I made the video on the Bradley before. The game that I want to present you, I just played now. And that is the reason why I made you a little bit confused with the information that all infantry fighting vehicles can actually fire on the move, except the M3 Bradley. Now, what I said about the Bradley, that it has to stop and then deploy the launcher, that is completely correct. But it is the Type 89 that actually can still fire on the move. All the other IFHVs have to stop before they can fire or drive at very slow speeds. The gun handling is alright, 60 degrees of gun elevation, so you can attempt to snipe planes or helicopters, which is very satisfying. 1.3 seconds reload between the 17 round clips. The armor is really nothing, nothing important. It can be hull broken. The X-ray reveals a very strange crew layout of the four. So sometimes something goes through this tank without dealing any damage, which is nice, especially here directly under the turret. You don't expect this space to be completely empty, but this is how it is. And then, yeah, let's talk about the mobility before we talk about the ammunition. While this tank has a lower horsepower to ton ratio than the M3 Bradley, 22 and a bit compared to 26 and a bit, you don't feel the difference at lower speeds. In fact, the Type 89 is just a bit more on the responsive side, so it turns better, it has a better reverse gear, it has better initial acceleration, and it deals a bit better with soft terrain at lower speeds. But at higher speeds, 40-45 kilometers per hour, this tank on medium terrain just stops accelerating despite the top speed being 73 kilometers per hour, so it behaves a little bit like a Leopard 1, whereas the M3 Bradley then has the advantage and can accelerate to its top speed of 66 kilometers per hour. And also, if you think you can accelerate downhill, you have the gear shifting bug, which is super annoying. So it's a bit of a forth and back between the two of them. Where the Type 89 has the advantage is that it can fire the Type 79 ATGMs just on the move, and they have higher penetration values, 700 millimeters compared to 430 millimeter on the M3 Bradley, but they seem to be a bit slower, I'm not quite sure, and you only have 6 of them despite having 2 launches. Then we have another big drawback, that the stock shell, the DM13, is an APAG. No information on the bursting charge, but only 68 millimeters of penetration, so you have to carefully aim and have to know which or where to engage the enemy at which distance and so forth, and side shots versus Soviet tanks in particular. The stock HE round is also not really that useful, except if you are very good at sniping planes. The magnification on the gun side is very good, and then we have, as only a tier 4 upgrade, the DM23 APDS, muzzle velocity 1200 rounds, 1200 meters per second, sorry about this, and 110 millimeters of penetration, so comparable to the Warrior and to the Bradley, roughly, on the 35 millimeter gun. So you have a very rough time with the stock grind, but I think the overall handling makes up for this. So I like this tank. It certainly claims the title of the party tank or the party infantry fighting vehicle that it now overtakes in my personal experience from the BMP-2. Without further ado, let's hop into the battle and let's see what I'm talking about. And so here we are on the European province map, and this is a very interesting layout between the capture zone and also the spawn zones. Look at the minimap, you can see there is a lot of variety, there is a lot of interesting places to go to, ridge lines, sniper locations, city fight, it has it all. It is a big map that gives a lot of opportunities for flanking, so it's open terrain, it's wide terrain, perfect hunting ground for a light tank. That is actually the infantry fighting vehicle's designation in War Thunder, and that is controversial by itself, but hey, therefore you gain the scouting ability, and that is just a very mighty tool, and that will come in handy later on, and is kind of like an insurance before I actually actively engage some of the enemies. So we see this later on. Again, the initial start is not very intense, and it is the build-up process that is very interesting. My position and my repositioning and my decision making, some lucky situations. So again, initially not very action-packed, but later on surely something that is worth watching. Now, a lot of people just want to get a kill compilation, and I can deliver this to you. I just can cut together all the kills and the lucky shots and then claim that I'm the best tanker. But how to use a vehicle, how to go into certain places, when and when not to engage the enemy, when to use which kind of weaponry, this is important. How to position yourself on the map and also to work together with your team are initial and essential parts of the understanding of a vehicle. So here I scout somebody and I fire an ATGM from an unexpected angle, and we take out his combat capabilities. Gun breach, turret ring and the loader, and then we just missed the second ATGM, which is a bit harsh because this is 1/3 of our ATGMs. Damn it. Okay. So now I play with the thought of going out of this situation, but my instinct tells me something's not right. Something's is a bit broken here. I observe here the situation. My team is very well distributed all across the map, and now I make a little bit of a mistake. I fire at the helicopter, not being aware that there is an SPA. That gives away my positioning, and yeah, that is something that will haunt me. So I try to have a look at the enemy, and then a shell comes my direction from the guy that I just harassed with 2 ATGMs. I take no damage, so the shell went through right through the middle of the tank without really killing or damaging anything. So that is a good result, but I have been warned. And if he is smart and really counts that I'm coming out of my little cover here again, then he has loaded an ATGM or a heat shell, something along the lines like this. I scout here the enemy tank, but while my ATGM is in the air, he gets destroyed. So that was... well, I kind of saw it coming, that if somebody's in the open and we narrowly get missed here, so I just moved with a bit of luck right at the right moment, and now I know that I'm kind of cornered. But there is a little trick that you always can use. Well, first of all, that was a bit cheeky again, that here is the T10M in the open and the other guy mis-aimed here. I have all the time in the world to aim the ATGM through. If the shot already has missed me and my ATGM is on its way, why not follow it through? As long as it is not an Object 906, I have the time to just guide the ATGM into target and then make the house my waifu again. And I hug it. I hug it like my life is hanging on this building's existence. I think that's correct, yeah. Now I think about, well, I have to get out of this situation. I observe the minimap. I see that the enemy has that the ridgeline to my right got well, depleted of tanks a little bit, so there is some action going on. Now the last of my tanks on this side of the ridgeline got deleted, and that is not good. That is certainly very, very bad. And I'm just trying to go behind this ridgeline and then just figure out if there are some enemy tanks coming up this ridgeline, and this will actually result in a very funny scene. Now, because of reasons, I have no replay of this match. That's all that I'm going to say. I could use the server replay here, but a direct replay I don't have. So that will be an explanation for later. Did you hack again? Yes, I hacked the replay away, surely. Okay, so I reposition myself in visual cover and for hard cover, and just go around the mountain here or the hill, just try to find new hunting grounds. Now there is actually a TAM of our team going towards their enemy's spawn, and he is a great distraction. He actually prepared the rest of the match for me with his action right there, and I just try to figure out where he is, what he does, and who he scouts, if it can help him, if he is disabled or something along the lines like this. So there is a kill assist, and yeah, I just overlooked this tank. I looked at this at a different portion of the map. I know, criticize me all you want. It happens to you guys all the time as well. Recently I got sent some replays, and usually I don't do replays. The one exception that I made was for Exe, which is a dear friend of mine, because I wanted to present you helicopters as well with some hilarious shots. But back to the topic, I watched some of those replays, and you guys overlooked obvious targets as well in those amazing replays that you sent me, but I don't feature them. I'm sorry, I received them, but the way that I have set it up is a bit complicated in terms of my email system, so it's a bit of a shame. Okay, next thing, I saw some action going on. The Object 906 was taken out, so we circled each other on this hill, and in the replay I guess you could have seen this in a very comical fashion without us knowing of each other. Now I think it's time to join the TAM and taming the enemy team. Yes, the puns are real. A gets decaptured, and I'm like, okay, where is the enemy? Can I see the enemy? I'm at an unexpected angle. Now sadly an Object 120 kills the TAM, so I know an Object 120 is around, and this leads me now to the situation trying to cross the bridge. Now, I'm not kidding when I say this, those driving maneuvers on the bridge were down to the micro freezes. It's not always feelable in the footage, but I get those micro freezes because according to my informations, Gaijin is now victim of some DDoS attacks, which is super annoying and very risky in some plane maneuvers, in some tank combats, when you just pull the trigger and nothing happens and you just freeze for a split second. That's just the difference that the enemy tank very often needs. So I go here into the bushes and just wait for it. And then I listen. I listen again, and I actually am very lucky that at this very moment the Object 120 moved by, didn't hear me, didn't notice me, and I know where the source of sound is. Yeah, and that's just typical result. True knockout. The next shot would have gone for the ammo rack on the back of the turret, and I move on. Now this is very much in the open, and I just saw here the rotating antenna of the SBA, of the DCA, before I actually knew it, and I scouted him. So my team knows where he is now. I fire an ATGM, he gets damaged, but now the hull break is kicking in, and that was a very important kill, because now my team actually also can move in, even the lightly armored tanks. Now this is very interesting. There seem to be at least 2 SPAs, and they're highly dangerous for me. Then there is an IS-7, I guess that's an IS-7 between the buildings, and again I play with the thought of sending an ATGM present his way, helping my team out in the fight. But I want also to go into cover, I want to scout him. Currently he is scouted, so that's interesting. I choose to go here near those houses, and this will actually save me. First of all, I get here the kill on this Object 120, again taking out a long-range sniper in an ambush location. This is very, very important. I receive a shot, lose one of my crew members, and then a plane comes in, and no, Mr. BTD, you no kill me today. And I have no idea how I survived those bombs. So I pop here the smoke, and those were actually all my smoke launchers, or the second charge at least. So that was very important. I'm now out of smoke. 4 ATGMs left. Okay. So the IS-7 is still scouted, and around about now the scouting stops. So I rescout him, helping my team out on the other side of the map or on the capture zone. And just as I moved into cover, the SPA opened up on me. There is the machine gun from a tank, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. This looks good. 9. I have to deal with one of them. And now this is one of the big advantages. I had 1 ATGM left, and I take him out. or make him combat inefficient, I rob him of his gun barrel, and then a Leopard 1 actually helps me from the ridgeline that I were previously on. So that's nice. The SPA actually goes for me around about now. But there are the artillery strikes coming in, and my tracers find their way into the enemy tank while he just didn't hit properly. That is now my 6th kill already. Okay. Immediately rethinking about where is the IS-7? A ZSU-52 was again killed right in front of me that was going for me for a revenge kill. And again, thank you, Leopard. That was amazing teamwork, and he just had my back. I would have died here probably twice already. So this is a situation that is not in my favor, and I'm now out of ATGMs. So that's a bit problematic. I use here the fantastic reverse gear. Please notice the speed of, well, 42 kilometers per hour backwards. That is very impressive. And again, a BMP-2 was killed near my spawn. So it's a bit of a suppression move, but it's not directly spawn camping. The team was actually going for me and not giving me the opportunity to really go out of the situation. Then I scout here the MX-3090, and then I try to kill him, and we actually knock out the crew. Good stuff. And then, yeah, I just overlooked it again, but I have a second look and... Hello, what is that? Hello, good sir. So this guy was just camping all the time, not looking back on where the action was going on. I was hit repeatedly. I'm sure his team pinged the map, and he's just chilling and camping there. That is a bad camper. So I first put myself into a position where I have hard cover, or very likely have hard cover. I scouted him, so even though I would screw up this fight here, which by the way I don't, so I hit his engine and then knock out the crew. For my 8th kill, my team knows of this guy's location. They know that there is a tank if they watch the minimap. So now a quick look at the leaderboard tells me that, yeah, there are not that many enemy tanks left. But this can change if the one is just still in the parachute that I just killed and he just observes the kill cam, all those things. They take too long to check. I wanted to go over the bridge into A to get back my smokes and my ATGMs and recover one of my crew members. And then I see, yeah, the fight is going on. The Chieftain Mark III sniped here one of our tanks. And I still see here the heavy tank symbol. So let's see what I can do. Immediately the thoughts are going in. Track him and then rob him of his gun barrel. But actually the T-10M was taken out by our tanks. So again, we move in with force. Then the Conway kills here another of our tanks. This is a tricky situation. And then a beautiful snipe by the enemy Chieftain Mark III. Congrats to you, sir. Good shot. No, honestly, very satisfying to watch how a BF-109 disintegrates. It's a rare sight, right? Wink, wink. And yeah, I'm on my way, and I choose here to hide on the low ground. Hide on the low ground, not attack from the low ground. Do you see the difference, Anakin? Yeah. So I couldn't resist. There you can see, I recharge the ATGMs, I recharge the smoke, I get my crew member back, and I get also the APDS clips back. And if I would be under attack, I now could pop here also the smoke and stay in cover. But I'm not forced or pushed in any way, shape or form. I now have all the time to recycle the ATGMs. And they take a long time before you actually reload them. So I observe it. North of our capture zone, there is nothing left. The enemy team has 5 tanks left, 5 players. The rest have actually bailed the match. BMP-1 has actually killed now the Leopard 1. I guess this was the helping hand from previously. So this is now a bit of an, at first unlucky, later on lucky decision that I go back. Because I assume that the BMP-1 has sneaked through and is now actually on the other side of the river. And so he can backstab our teammates or some of my teammates, and I'm not in the mood to let this happen, to throw this match. We have the points advantage, we have the players advantage, but still, you know, it's tricky. And just when I go actually out of combat range of the rest of my team, again, as a designated light tank, I can help the mouse to repair here and something, but I have greater plans, and this is, again, controversial. I look here into the usual positions. I could have easily died here, make no mistake, that was bad driving. A BMP-1 and the Chieftain Mark III actually kill here. The Object 906 gets revenge killed immediately after it claims a kill. I think that's the Chieftain, not a Challenger Mark III, right? Yeah. Yeah, and so I need to go into this position, the map gets pinged, and I drift here into position. Again, please notice the handling of the tank. And then I just wait. And again, I'm listening. So I just missed the Object 906, but he goes in front of me, and then I snipe his ammunition. The next shot would have been a crew knockout anyway. I scout here the other tank that knows that I'm probably in this position. Drop an artillery strike on the scouted tank. Look around, is there anybody? Can I come here from the other side? I'm very keen on actually getting here the 10th kill. Okay, for the double ace. But time is short. And so this aggressive driving here is very important. There is actually the Conway. Bit of a mind game. He sees me driving through the other side. I turn around, and before he can swing the turret around, one of the ATGM misses, the other one doesn't. So at close quarters, the positioning, the off-center positioning of the ATGMs is important. And just right now, I kid you not, the game crashed. So the only results that I can give you are this one. 60,642 civil lines earned, 9,378 research points on the Type 89 with the Type 89. That's really a funny thing about the test rides from Gaijin. The ammunition is dirty cheap, so we get 1,480 civil lines of ammunition cost, so pure profit is 58,500 civil lines. That's really nice, and this is what I really love about those IFHVs, that they are mostly profitable. So that is now the Type 89. It has the dirty advantage, the unfair advantage, to name it correctly, over the M3 Bradley and all the other IFHVs, in that it can fire the ATGMs on the move, but it only has 6 of them, but double launchers, better penetration, a higher battle rating, a nastier stock grind. So overall, I like this tank. So be careful if you actually meet it on the battlefield. I hope you liked this battle. If so, please give it a like. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this presentation, if you like those long gameplays or if you only want to have a kill compilation. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Again, give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.